I'm in the game still rapping at a high capacity. If Nas wants to smoke, come in the booth. I will rap circles
don't want no
around.
smoke. He enjoying that 150 million, 200 million. He
Okay then, so then leave me alone while I'm on the field.
You was effing with him. He wasn't bothering you.
Really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them. Jim Jones was never better than Nas. Jim Jones will never be better than Nas. And this is coming from somebody that's not a Nas fan. I love Dipset. I love the Diplomats. I love Bird Gang. But we not about to start rewriting history.
During his appearance on Shannon Sharpe's podcast, Jim Jones stated that he is not only still significant in hip-hop, but also more powerful than Nas. The atmosphere shifted as soon as he uttered it. 50 Cent didn't give a verbal response. He recently shared a transcript from a federal court on Instagram. Nothing else, no caption. The internet went bananas over just one post.
I never got to, did I ever got to see Nas? I never got to sit down and have a conversation with Nas and things like that. I had called you about it and things like that. That was like, still one of the people that I never got to have a conversation throughout my history of rap and things like that. I think I would love to have a conversation with Nas. I wouldn't know if he knows it, but Nas was one of my all-time favorite rappers coming up and things like that.
I've heard you say that.
Since the barbecue and things like that. Like he really put the whole dope boy rap, crack hustler, get fresh rap into perspective before.
Following that, enthusiasts began researching Wiretap's previous interviews and video. Jim, in response, he went to the gym and hurled taunts like he was prepared for a rap fight. But this wasn't just about ego. 50's actions seemed to serve as a message to the industry as a whole, highlighting who is truly untouchable and who was fortunate enough to escape punishment.
I recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
that's my young boy
big hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying, Nas is like a god.
In my era,
Jim might have just been trying to brag, but bringing up Nas always brings tension there. Beef goes back to 2002, when Nas D.S. Cameron on Hot 97 calling his album trash. That set Dip Off and Jim jumped right in. They went back and forth on mixtapes. But Jim made it personal, saying wild things about Nas and even threatening him. His hit We Fly High wasn't just a brag. It was him declaring himself.
Remember, Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade. So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan, period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you gotta realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that, I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation.
The Be Mindful of Nawaz. Only last year did he very well of him, but that changed once he sat with Jadakiss and Fat Joe on a podcast. When Joe questioned him about his influence, Jim said that he was not just more relevant, but also more powerful. Then hip-hop icon Nas, who is still selling out arenas in his 50s and has records. Jim refused to give up, intensified his efforts.
I came into light and started going crazy that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them. Some of them, though.
You know what I mean? Like,
that moment on the podcast didn't only result in drama. The whole thing blew apart. Jim didn't let it go away, so he went on another show to further agitate the situation.
no, me, Jim Jones. No diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them entries. And I'm not taking nothing away from nobody, but I hear the comparisons and then be trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this shit about the industry.
A nightcap with Chad and Shannon Johnson. Jim was expected to provide an explanation himself. Instead, he doubled down once more, which made everything worse.
Can I ask you a question, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
You smoke, right?
Yeah.
Were you smoking when you said you better than Nas?
I might.
He was not tolerated by Shannon Sharpe. He immediately pressed Jim, but Jim's response startled display astonishment.
I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when we talk about the sales and all this type of. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that bullshit.
But listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little.
Jim retained the ongoing comparisons, bringing up the previous Dipset beef versus Nausea. He claimed to have always asserted that he gave him an influence. He then took a different tack and acknowledged that Nas was among the best dressed rappers. But in the end, Jim kept circling back to one issue. I move the streets more than Nas does.
Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like,
ain't no shame in that. There's a lot of folks came up second to Tom Brady.
He never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album. I already told you, I used to want to dress like Nas because he had a lot of fresh clothes that the hustlers used to wear, and we used to see him on TV. He had one of the illest albums of all time. And then in high school when he had the barbecue and shit like that. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Bell.
Shannon did not believe it. During the concert, Jim became irritated and began making fun of Shannon's attire, transforming it into a roasting contest. While Shannon and Jim faced off, Chad Johnson merely sat back and laughed at the mayhem.
Oh, you've been in this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah, but look how you dress. Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in.
I can be in the church house. You can't ever Nas lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, I know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing.
Jim then went too far and said he was simply invited for the scenery and clouds. Shannon lost her temper at that point, began firing instead of remaining the composed host. You have several people in their 40s and 50s. Jim's music, his claims, and even his fitness.
A bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than
It don't matter.
Look at you. Look at you.
Nobody from Dipset gonna take you over Nas. Nobody from the Diplomats but you.
Hold on, Jim. Hold on.
That shirt too tight.
Hold on.
Jim. You want to go back to I really mean it? I really mean it started. We could go back to the history, bro.
But you didn't even say that.
After then, the dispute evolved into a fitness challenge. Jim called and out Shannon to a fitness contest in an attempt to demonstrate his might and supremacy. Outside the realm of music,
playing at a high level. You better check my record, I'm still playing at a high level. I'm rapping at a high level. You better check my stats, bro. I will run circles around Nas rapping right. I will run circles around Nas rapping right now. Right now, I will run Saturn around Nas right now.
Jim was busy talking tough, but 50 Cent has already moved stealthily but efficiently with that court filing. In the meantime, social media was exploding. With heated discussions in the comment areas.
This is the biggest podcast you ever been on. You know the podcast you been on better than this one.
Hold on. We on topic. Hold on.
No.
This is what I do. You see
Name a podcast you been on bigger than this one. When you get big, you get invited to Club Shay Shay.
This is what I do.
Nas get invited to Club Shay.
The fact that a former NFL player was standing up for Nas more than rappers shocked many. Shannon did what Fat Joe and Jada should have done. Read one response. Jim remarked another. You're delusional. I appreciate you checking him out. Shannon, many others asked why Joe and Jada had initially been so silent.